Did you know that everything you thought about getting jacked is probably wrong? Today I'm breaking down the exact system that's kept me lean and strong for years without living in the gym, without taking a mountain of supplements, and without following some extreme diet that makes you miserable. And if you want the complete roadmap I built for my clients to achieve their dream body so you can do it even faster than them, I'm giving away the blueprint for free with the link in the description below. Well, here's the reality. The fitness industry makes billions every year by keeping you confused. And the more confused you are, the more you buy. They want you to believe you need their pre-workout, their meal plans, their 6-day-a-week program, and their revolutionary new training method that's basically just bicep curls on a Bosu ball. But here's what they won't tell you. Getting in the best shape of your life is embarrassingly simple. So simple that if everyone knew it, half these companies would go out of business tomorrow. So let's be honest about what's actually possible. You're not going to look like a Men's Health cover model in 90 days, but you will absolutely build noticeable muscle, drop body fat, and feel stronger and more energized than you have in years. And more importantly, you'll learn a system that actually fits into your real life. A system you can maintain forever, not just for 12 weeks before you burn out and quit. With that being said, where do we start? I'm only giving you 2 options because decision fatigue kills progress before it even starts. Option 1 is a 3 to 4 day split. That's it. For 99% of people watching this video, that's all you need. And I know what you're thinking. Only 3 days? How am I supposed to get jacked training 3 days a week? To be honest, 3 days might even be excessive for some people, and I still think 2 days is more than enough for most people to get jacked. Because when you're training less, you're actually recovering enough to get stronger from session to session. Most people don't need more workouts, they need better workouts. Their workouts need more intensity, because here's what actually builds muscle: getting stronger in a moderate rep range. It's never been the pump. It's not some pyramid scheme workout that you found on TikTok. And you definitely don't need to superset every exercise until you can't feel your limbs or some other nonsense I used to do when I was younger that did absolutely nothing except waste my time and energy. What builds muscle is doing something like looking at your barbell row and seeing that you started with 135 pounds for 6 reps, and now a year later you're rowing 205 pounds for 8 reps. If your lifts aren't going up, your physique isn't changing. It's that simple. Here's what most natural lifters can't do: recover from high volume and high intensity at the same time. You're most likely working full time, and your sleep is probably okay, but it's not perfect. On top of that, you're stressed most days and you're not hitting your macros exactly like you should. And to tie it all together, you're probably not even drinking enough water. So trying to train 6 days a week on top of all of that is just gonna burn you out because everything else is so out of alignment. So when I scaled back to a minimal amount of sessions per week, everything changed. My discipline to train became effortless, and I sustained 0 injuries because overtraining was no longer destroying my joints. I achieved consistent strength gains week after week, and I actually had energy for the rest of my life outside of the gym. Comparing that to when I trained 6 or 7 days a week, I had constant fatigue, no time for anything else, frequent injuries from overused joints, and frustrating plateaus I couldn't break because I never fully recovered. Training anywhere between 2 and 4 days a week fixes all of that because you recover, you progress, you stay consistent, and your physique actually changes because the training is finally working. So what exercises actually matter? Here's what I learned after years of trial and error. Start with movements you don't hate. You hate running? Don't run. Do something else instead. If you don't like deadlifts, find an alternative. Consistency beats perfection every single time. If you're going to do something like training chest, stick to the basics, like a flat barbell bench, a dumbbell press, and pec deck flies. These will build your chest without destroying your shoulders. For your back, focus on rowing variations and pull-ups. Whether it's barbell rows, single arm dumbbell rows, or cable rows, these will build that thick V-tapered back that everyone wants. For the shoulders, make sure you hit all 3 heads because the delts carry the most volume of your upper body muscles. Use something like a Smith machine overhead press for the front, cable lateral raises for the sides, and face pulls for the rear delts. For arms, keep it simple. Hammer curls and easy bar curls for biceps, close grip bench and skull crushers for triceps. That's it. For legs, pick variations that don't make you dread leg day but still make you work hard regardless. So for your quads, that could be anything like a hack squat, Smith machine squat, or leg extensions. I always like to pick 1 compound and 1 isolation. Same goes for your hamstrings, usually a stiff-legged deadlift and then a seated leg curl. And I make sure I never skip my calves and core because those are also very important to train. If you're going to train your abs, make sure you use weighted cable crunches and weighted planks, not endless bodyweight ab circuits that do absolutely nothing. Your abs are muscles too, they're not just for show. Here's my approach. I'll pick a day and train 30 minutes at a time. I'll make sure each workout hits a small handful of exercises, and by the end, the target muscles are heavily stimulated but not completely exhausted. Because my strategy here is to have manageable workouts that aren't daunting. When I first started training low volume, I was doing 3-day-a-week sessions that lasted about an hour and a half, hitting multiple muscle groups at each time. And while that works in theory, those sessions were so brutal that it wasn't sustainable in the long term. And this especially goes if you're a beginner. With shorter, more enjoyable workouts, that mental hurdle to get to the gym is so much lower, so it's much easier to be consistent. But if you're someone that would rather go 5 days a week but only spend 30 minutes a day in the gym, this is absolutely perfect for you, because you'll still be able to hit every single muscle group that you want, but you're just spreading it out into more manageable sessions. So there is no perfect amount of days per week you should work out. If you're someone that likes to train less days per week but go for longer periods at a time, then that 2 to 3 day split will work perfectly for you, making sure you prioritize full body training. But if you want to spread out your workouts throughout the week without having to go for as long, then that 5-day approach is perfect as well. It all depends on your goals and schedule, but what makes this so simple is that both options work, because it's not about perfection, it's about progression. And without progression, you don't have a program. You just have a random list of exercises. Here's the method I've used consistently to keep getting results every single workout. Number 1 is to start with a weight you can lift for at least 8 challenging reps, with your maximum being no more than 10. Add 1 rep each week to 1 or all sets. Number 2, when you hit 12 reps across all sets, increase your weight by 2.5 to 5 pounds. Then drop back down to 8 reps and repeat until you get back up to 12. This is progressive overload, and it's the single most important factor in building muscle. Getting stronger in a moderate rep range is why you build most of your muscle. I can't stress this enough. If you're not getting progressively stronger, you're not going to make any measurable progress. But once you put all this work in, you have to prioritize recovery. But most people get this wrong, because your rest days aren't for sitting on the couch. Here's what actually moves the needle. You should be walking anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 steps a day minimum. And I know this sounds boring, but walking handles more than people realize. It keeps you lean without complex cardio routines. It helps with digestion. It reduces overall stress, and it improves your recovery because it's low effort and low fatigue. When you combine walking with consistent training, you stay lean year-round without having to do brutal cardio sessions that interfere with your recovery. I see so many people trying to do HIIT workouts 5 days a week on top of their lifting, and all it does is destroy their ability to recover and get stronger. For most of you watching this, you don't need to track every single macro in some AI-induced app. If you stick to whole foods like meat, eggs, fruit, honey, potatoes, rice, and definitely some vegetables, you'll automatically control your calories without obsessively tracking everything. Now, I'm not saying you can't overeat on whole foods. You absolutely can. But most people will be satiated after 3 to 4 whole food meals. You avoid the constant hunger that comes from processed food that's designed to keep you eating more. You should initially start tracking, but once you get those meals down and monitored, you'll know exactly what you need to eat without having to weigh every single meal each time. Here's the framework. Aim for about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It sounds like a lot, but for most people, that's where drinking your protein comes in handy. 1 or 2 homemade protein shakes a day can get you 50 to 100 grams right there. Then you can just focus on your protein-rich whole foods for the rest. My favorites are steak, ground turkey, salmon, whole eggs, and cottage cheese. Build your meals around these, add some carbs for energy, and you're 90% of the way there. If you're trying to lose body fat while building muscle, you need to exist in a slight caloric deficit while hitting that protein target. You can calculate your maintenance calories online, then subtract 500 calories. But sustainability always beats perfection. If you can't stick to it for months, it doesn't matter how good the process is on paper. And you could also never be too proficient at your fundamentals. That's where most people completely miss the boat. You can have the perfect training program and nutrition dialed in, but if you ignore these fundamentals, you're leaving massive gains on the table. One of the most slept on factors for getting jacked is sunlight. And I know what you're probably thinking. What does sunlight have to do with getting jacked? Everything. When you're consistently exposed to sunlight, it tells your brain to turn on your energy, your focus, and your muscle building hormones. It also sets up your circadian rhythm so you can actually recover at night, because that's when muscle growth happens. People will complain about being tired all the time no matter what they do. The reality is most people stare at screens, rush to work, sit inside under artificial lights all day, and never actually see the sun. So their body never gets the signal to fully wake up. Their energy stays low, their mood stays flat, and their sleep gets worse. If you're trying to build muscle, this will absolutely kill your progress. Make sure you try to get at least 15 to 30 minutes of morning sunlight as early as possible. Your testosterone, mood, and recovery will all improve. Second is to sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. This should be common sense, but common sense isn't common practice. Your sleep is bad, everything else suffers. Whether it's your strength, testosterone, fat loss, recovery, all of it's going to suffer. Good sleep is the most powerful performance enhancer you can give yourself, and it's completely free. To make this easier, I'll set my thermostat to around 68 degrees. I'll use blackout curtains. It's better to keep your phone in another room and read for 20 minutes before bed instead. And I also take a magnesium supplement before bed for deeper sleep. These simple changes dramatically improved my recovery and made every workout feel better. Lastly, you need to prioritize hydration. Being even slightly dehydrated ruins your strength, your pump, and your energy. Most guys walk around tired for no reason other than they barely drink any water. An easy rule, take your body weight in pounds and cut it in half. That's how many ounces of water you need minimum per day. If you want to take action ASAP, buy yourself a 64-ounce insulated water bottle and actually track it every day. You can use the app Chronometer, which will track calories and your water all in one. And once you start doing that, you might find out that you were simply dehydrated this whole time, and that's why your workouts were suffering. It was never about your program or your diet. You just weren't drinking enough water. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the most boring point, the most overused point, but it's the most important point. You can do everything I just laid out perfectly, but if you only last 2 weeks, nothing's gonna happen. You've gotta be consistent for months and then even years. You gotta lift, walk every day, eat real food, get sunlight, sleep, hydrate, and repeat. I promise you it works. It's always worked. And people only miss it because they're too busy looking for something more complicated because they think it's gonna get them results even faster. That's what kills most people. They go from 0 to 100 overnight. They hit the gym 7 days a week, every single week. They only eat chicken and broccoli. Then they buy all the gym clothes. And all of a sudden they're burnt out because they switched up their lifestyle so immediately, it was unsustainable. Their mind hadn't even gotten the time or energy to process this change. This all or nothing mentality is why people go from 0 to 100 and then right back to 0. The name of the game is consistency, and that means slow growth and progress that develops lasting habits. One insane workout session isn't going to change your physique, but dozens of medium difficulty workouts absolutely will. This focus on sustainable habits is especially powerful because it doesn't rely on motivation. Motivation is useful when it's there, but it's not always going to be there. Sometimes you'll feel it after seeing someone who's jacked or after a breakup because breakups absolutely make bodybuilders, but motivation is fleeting. You'll feel it maybe 20% of the time. Habits, systems, or routines are what you can actually rely on for your discipline. They're the core of becoming truly fit and then staying that way for life. You want to know about some tactics that made the difference for me? First, try to work out in the morning if possible. Your willpower is much higher in the mornings, and nighttime workouts can make it harder to get quality sleep. This will help you get the workout out of the way before your brain has time to come up with the 47 excuses it's an absolute expert at creating. If you start your day with doing the hardest thing first, surely the rest of your day can't be that much more difficult. The next one is to use habit stacking, which I learned from a book called Atomic Habits that I absolutely recommend you check out. Attach your new workout habit to something you already do consistently. For me, after I make my coffee in the morning, I immediately know it's time to get my gym gear in the car and get my water bottle filled and ready to go. At that point, I'm mentally warmed up, which leads me to guaranteeing I get to the gym that day. Making coffee became the first domino that leads me to working out. I didn't need any motivation, just a smooth brain sequence of I do this, then I do this. Third, reduce the friction around your workout habit. Set out your gym shoes the night before. Keep a packed gym bag in your car. If you got it like that, build a home gym so you can avoid the crowded commercial gym after work. Do whatever you can to make it easier for yourself to be successful. Finally, if you dread your workouts, make them a little bit easier if you're starting out so you don't hate them as much. You could ramp up the intensity later. You just got to start with being consistent. When you're new, a mediocre workout is still a workout that can yield results, and showing up for even a quick sessions deepens that consistency habit for the harder workouts later down the line. Here's what you need to do right now though. You have to write down your specific goal. Something like gain 10 pounds of muscle or lose 25 pounds of fat in the next 90 days. And then number 2, make sure you read it every morning and before bed. Keep it somewhere you'll see regularly. Next is to remember the reason you started this journey and then use that to visualize yourself having already achieved that goal. Then align yourself with that feeling and use it as a compass to get back on track when life tries to knock you off course. it's not covered in the system, you probably don't need it. Stop overcomplicating things. Stop following 10 different influencers with conflicting advice. This is just one clear path to building the body you want. You now have everything you need to transform your physique over the next 90 days and beyond. Pick one of the training splits I discussed and stick to it. Commit to progressive overload. Walk 10K steps a day. Eat real whole foods with adequate protein. Get your morning sunlight in. And sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. Make sure you stay hydrated and make sure you stay consistent. The magic isn't in the complexity. It's in doing the basics exceptionally well, day after day, week after week, month after month. You can never be too proficient at your fundamentals. And if you don't know where to start and you need help applying this framework to your life so you could start making gains as fast as possible and build your dream body, you can book a free private one-on-one call with me using the link in the description below. It's just for me to see if I can help you, and if I can, we'll come up with a game plan that could be either implemented yourself or working one-on-one with me. I look forward to working with each and every one of you.